Hello and welcome to episode 10, which I adjust my camera a bit, of our Delta Green game, playing the Iconoclast campaign called Operation Bonebox. We are Wilderspace Gaming. I'm Andy and I'm the handler. Let me introduce you to my players. Well, sorry, first of all, Chris, who plays Agent Khar, unfortunately can't be with us tonight. So I shall start with Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Agent Pink, our pararescue jumper.
Marc.
Hi, I'm Marc, and I play Agent Sandman, Green Beret.
B.
Hi, I'm B. I play Agent Hawk, who is an ICE federal agent.
Bruce.
Hi, I'm Bruce. I play Agent Jones, who is an archaeologist.
And Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom. I play Agent Farmer, who is a ONI officer and former CB.
Okay, thanks for that. Right. So last session, two characters, which was Agents Hawk and Farmer, stayed in Kirkuk to try and set up a call, or take part in a call that Agent Hawk had set up with with this other team that you have spotted within Mosul, you had arranged, you'd left them a note at the prisoner of war camp where you had recovered a witness to the unnatural event, and you left them a note telling them, giving them a time to call. You set up for that, but instead of an actual phone call coming through, there was a text message came through saying delay 24 hours. So you stayed in Kirkuk to do that. So that was on the evening of the 7th of April. Okay. Now, overnight on the 7th of April, there was the first reported attack of a that you're linking to this unnatural occurrence, this entity, and it's the first attack for a while. And I will just. So I'm just flagging up. That's the handout that came with that. Okay. And you received that. So you actually received this report on the Friday, the following day, the 8th of April. Okay. But Farmer and Hawk, you're the first two that got that. Okay. Now, the reason that there was just you in Kirkuk is the other four. So Agents Khar, Pink, Sandman, and Jones went to this meeting in London, where they met up with a lady by the name of Emmeline Vance, who is let me dig out her photo. Oh, she'll be in the NPC section. There. Sorry, Emmeline Hale, not Emmeline Vance. This lovely old lady who bought them a nice pret-a-manger, sandwiches and drinks and so on as they travelled to the British Museum, where they were taken down into some basement level, where they were shown into a room that Emmeline Hale was in, and she then, a discussion then proceeded and a bit of sharing took place of digital copies of the tablets of the Winds Unknown to Winds Unknown to Adad that you guys have recovered. And she had in the room the ones that the British Museum holds, and she had some information on the ones from the Iraqi Museum in Baghdad, but she has flagged that that collection was looted, has been recovered, and has not been recatalogued since it was recovered. So she knows what was originally there, but she does not know what of it has been returned. Okay, and it's definitely there are some missing. Okay, and we finished up with the 4 agents in London, and we sort of left at the point where you were deciding that any more questions before you started to leave. So, is there anything further you want to talk to Emmeline Hale about before you leave? Sorry, there's a lot of
We're not there.
Mark,
Yeah,
you're,
no,
Mark, you're muted.
I'm just trying to remember where we were at and
Yeah,
sort of whether
yeah.
we
So
did everything else.
it's been about 4 weeks. So yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, you were talking to her. She had shared various things about the tablets. She had advised that if you're starting to study the tablets to try and learn some of the secrets, it is actually better to have proper tablets rather than
Like transcriptions or something.
yeah, rather than digital images. It is better to have proper copies of them. It's harder to
Okay.
learn things from the digital images, though it is possible.
We've got a complete digital copy from her, or had we not got that yet?
Yes, she has shared a digital set of
Did
what
share it.
of what's in what she's got, what she has, what the in the British Museum, well, what the British Museum has rather, and there's physical copies there if you wish to inspect them as well. And then she's also shared you a digital copy of what used to be the Baghdad Museum's collection, though she, as I said, she's flagged that some of that is physically missing now.
Is any of the stuff that we would need to learn the rituals only on the British Museum physical tablets? If that's what she's saying, that we need the physical tablets, and there's key tablets missing from our collection, then that might
That
be an issue.
will require some research.
Let us research them.
Okay. So this will take a chunk more time. So where am I? I need to go. No. Right.
Yeah, it'd be useful to find out where there's overlaps and where there's gaps,
Mhm.
or if there are any gaps now.
Right. So right. What is your archaeology skill, and what is your Arcadian skill, please, Agent Jones?
Archaeology is 78. Acadian is 40.
Right. Please, can you give me? Actually, no. I'm asking you to make too many rolls. Right. Okay.
Because I keep on failing them, and then my character improves.
That's why he doesn't want to give it to us.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So you've been studying these tablets for a while. You found before that there's in the tablets recovered from Rassams that you have back in Kirkuk, you've got a full copy of the Elder Sign, a ritual called the Elder Sign. Okay. There's also as you're checking your own and you're getting used to going through these and working through them, there is something called the Voorish sign.
Did you say Voorish or Boorish?
Voorish, V-O-O-R-I-S-H. Okay.
Yep.
Also in right. Also, there are. You've also managed to pick out that partial in all three sets. Actually, sorry, let me explain that. There is overlaps between them, but between the set you have from Rassam's,
Yep.
that plus either the British Museum set or the Baghdad Museum set, if the tablets are still there. Bear in mind I said some are now missing. There are two more rituals. One called call forth those from outside, and the other is the closing of the breach.
So Andy, just to confirm, is the Elder Sign a fourth ritual?
Yeah, so Elder Sign is one ritual, then Voorish Sign, then within your original tablets, you've realised now you've got partials for something called call forth those from outside.
Yep.
And the closing of the breach.
So our set has the Elder Sign and the Voorish Sign.
Yep.
Call forth from those from outside would need a combination from which sets?
Rassam's plus one of the other two. Assuming that the physical tablets are present in Baghdad. Because she's got digital copies of. But we
could take the British Museum ones.
She won't let you take them.
Yeah, just shoot her in the head and then take that. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But the Baghdad one might be a little bit easier. And then the closing of the breach is also, we need a combination of us and one of the other.
Yeah. One last thing. Can you do me a sand check, please?
I certainly can. I thought you said that you were making us make too many rolls.
Oh, there's never enough sand rolls.
Yeah, that is the one roll there cannot be too much of.
Why did that not work? Oh, no modifier. All right, I see. Yeah, okay. Yay!
You lose a point of sand.
But I failed, so I should get a 1d4 sand back.
No, you lose a point of sand, but you gain a point of unnatural.
You gotta respect the hustle, man.
Another point of unnatural. I grow ever more powerful.
What's it up to?
3.
3, yeah.
Respectable single digits.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So she's not prepared to let you take these. The tablets the museum holds away.
Another question: when these rituals, do you learn them, and then you can carry that information around with you, or do you have to kind of cast them from the tablets?
It appears to be something that you commit to memory, and then can cast without having the source present with you.
So I could learn them now.
That would take a long time because also she doesn't have a complete set.
No, but you're saying that we've got the tablets here, including the British Museum.
No, you didn't bring your set with you. You've got a digital copy of your set.
Okay. Could I take a high fidelity cast of the tablets? Is that as good as the physical tablets if we took a high fidelity cast?
What is a high fidelity cast? Is that like a
I don't know, a
high-tech
plaster
plaster?
or a 3D image plus printing, you know?
Yeah, I
Either
reckon.
3D imaging or just do a silicon mold and then you can pour
Yeah,
parts
that's what
into the mold
like you would do
afterwards.
with like a dinosaur print or something like
Okay.
that. But probably more high tech materials than like, if you want like high fidelity, you can get some really good high accuracy compounds they use for things like figure casting and other bits and pieces.
Different types of resins and stuff like that, isn't it? Yeah.
Bruce, sorry,
I'd
that
go with the
feedback started on your
silicon.
headset again, your microphone
Yeah.
again.
No worries, mate. I'll swap it. I thought I'd solved it.
Okay. I'd go with the silicon over resin because then there's less chance to damage the actual originals. Plus, having a 3D scan to be able to render, you have to have good software and a very good printer to be able to do that.
Okay.
Doable, but...
It delays you a bit further, but at some persuasion from Agent Khar, because he is your persuasive man, Emmeline agrees, and Kit is brought in to allow you to take copies of the relevant ones, and bags are provided to carry it in. It's something I'm sure you'd have done before as an archaeologist, therefore I'm just going to assume you can do it with your skill level. Okay?
Cheers. And then you said it was going to take a long time to learn the signs. When you say long time, are we talking day, week, month, year?
Several days.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. We'll have plenty of time
Yeah.
while I'm kicking around.
Oh, several days. We thought this was going to be like a decade-long process. We were gearing up to have to fight these bladed things forever.
Right. Okay. Anything? So by the time you finished all that, it's getting quite late on. It's probably 7, 8 o'clock at night, something like that.
Yeah, sounds like an overnight flight back home would be pretty reasonable.
Okay. So is that you finished as your...
I think we've done what we can do and at least sort of established what the British Museum had, gaps that we've got, and also a little bit more around about actually what we do have in our possession. Is there anything from, I've forgotten the lady's name, Emmeline, about what any of those rituals may do, particularly the thing closing the breach? And I'm mindful of this sort of, how do you get the genie back in the bottle?
And on that vein as well, is there any other paraphernalia required for them that we might need to catch up here while we're in there?
You're going to have to study it and learn it and then figure that out.
Okay, that's fine.
In
which case, late flight back.
Sorry, just bear with me a sec. While you've been
we ought to do some updates as well to the other people still in Mosul as well. Just tell them what's going on, and also just keep the intel flowing.
Just before that, she I'm trying to remember from last time. You hadn't really explained why you were interested in these tablets. You had a copy. We hadn't really explained anything further, I don't believe. So she does at some point ask you, what is your interest in these tablets? You found a set. You're very keen to understand them. You're particularly keen on the rituals. You're particularly keen on this closing the breach. That implies to me that something needs to be returned to some location. Can you expand at all on what you're up to? Or possibly, dare I say, what you're facing? You're muted, Bruce.
Given how badly that I've performed when speaking to her, I might defer that to somebody else in the room.
Okay.
I'll just look really uncomfortable and not speak for a moment and let somebody else chime in the awkward silence.
We're not cleared to give full briefing at this moment in time. However, you may assume that there is some foreign entity that has suddenly resurfaced after a long period of time of being latent, shall we say. Have any of your studies of the tablets ever revealed any of these sort of entities by name?
Well, I mean, I've studied these, so I've heard of an entity that these refer to a number of times called the Father of War.
I'll raise an eyebrow. Fascinating. And what did your inquiries sort of tell you about this creature?
That he goes by another name as well, Nyarlathotep.
It's new on. I've not ever heard that before. Sounds a lot of consonants.
Should you get a chance, if you're truly intent on researching the creature mentioned in his The Father of War, then I would encourage you to try and find a document. No, that rather understates it. A collection of manuscripts, originally Greek papyrus, but papyrus in ancient Greek is what I mean. But there are versions that has been over the years recopied and placed in books and so on. It's a tome though that's known as the Nancotic the Nancotic manuscripts. You spell that Pnakotic. I believe it's a silent P.
It is. Monoptic manuscripts. In Greek.
Yes.
And would the British Museum have a copy of it?
It does not.
Or the British Library?
No. But Agent
It might be
Jones.
easy. Might be, yeah, go on. I haven't quite got my journal out and taking notes on how this was dealt with, but not far off.
You have heard of the Nancotic manuscripts.
Yeah.
In fact, you are aware of a copy in the
In my travel case.
No.
Miskatonic University?
Nope. It's in. Oh, Andy reminds me.
Privately held collection that we're going to have to break into.
No, the National Library of Greece in Athens.
Athens is lovely this time of year. It's just a stop off on the way over.
So if you need
Google haven't got around to digitising it.
Sorry?
On Google. Google haven't got around to digitising it on Google Scholar yet.
No.
Thank goodness.
Is it on display at the museum or is it in the archives?
It's in the archives.
Okay.
So
it's
if
also
we were
in ancient Greek.
It's in ancient Greek. So if we were to come across this Anoptic manuscript or manuscripts, in what way will they help us?
It may give you more information about the Father of War.
and this Nyala Thotep.
As he is sometimes called.
Right. Which sounds quite interesting for my learned colleagues.
In order
So,
to gain access to the university in this manuscript, what's the process?
You as an academic could simply apply, or
Is it like putting an application in and 3 months later you get an invitation, or you have to kind of?
It's Greece. A lot of it is chatting to people and being friendly. It's not. It's a fairly relaxed. It's not in a restricted section or anything like that. It's just sort of in the archive somewhere.
how much?
More actually just being friendly and persuading and demonstrating an interest and a need rather than actual bribery. Though that might help as well, to be fair.
Well, based on the current state of the Greek economy.
This is 2016. Yes. Yeah.
Anywho, might be able to buy you the copy.
Yep. Right. Anything further to talk to Emmeline about?
No, is it all right that we come back and keep in touch? How does she feel?
I would very much like you to keep in touch. You're clearly involved in dealing with an entity. One that,
like I say, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
My knowledge of things is very much as an advisor from the safety of my armchair. So, but from what little I understand of these entities, I would advise going with more than a few guns and trying to deal with it. I would advise studying some of those rituals. I'm assuming that is the reason you're here. So I think you're already on the correct course. Though I don't actually understand the scale of what you are combating.
It's been enlightening. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll probably still be in touch and hopefully not too much in the newspapers.
And she shakes you all by the hand, and Agent Jones with you, she says, yes, please do keep in touch. And remember, I would eventually like to see the physical copies of your set. I understand the reasons for keeping them to yourself for the moment, but ultimately this knowledge should be shared. Okay. And are you then exiting and heading back to?
She seems sane.
Sorry?
Does she seem sane?
So that's a very good question.
From that last comment,
I think we've been given the impression that there was something bubbling under the surface in a previous conversation along those lines.
You were, but technically, it's not. I'm trying to remember, is it a psychotherapy check or is it? No, it's a human. What's your humint, please?
43.
You may roll that.
Very good. Now,
you may tick it.
Hurrah! It can remain ticked like the last time I failed.
Is anyone else trying to ascertain this, or are you just
I
happy
think
to
he's
leave
a
it?
lovely old academic. So nicely turned out.
No
right. Nervous tick.
So are you are you finished here? Or are you starting to exit?
I think exit Unless, what do the
Yeah.
rest of you think?
I can't think of anything else, but
Okay.
if anybody else can.
Agent Pink.
Nick?
Hmm?
Sorry, is
Yeah.
Agent Pink's happy to exit? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Right. She opens the door and calls to the sort of guard. You remember those guards sat out in the corridor, who escort you down here, and he escorts you back through the winding, the winding sort of corridors underneath the British Museum, and eventually up into sort of the rear areas where various academics work. And then, if you remember, you went through one very secure door at one point, and then into out the last few bits are through some of the public areas, then into a courtyard at the back of the British Museum where there's a where you had parked your vehicle, which I think wasn't it a Land Rover or something like that? I can't remember, or Range Rover. Sorry, Marc, you're on mute. It was a Range Rover, and you get into it, and Agent Sandman, you get into the driver's seat, and just as you're about to start the engine up, the guy who guided you has appeared at your driver's window, and he just sort of knocks on the window.
Just glance down. Is he carrying a pistol in his other hand?
No, you can see both his hands.
Okay, a good start. Wind down the electric. Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I forgot one thing," and he offers your hand to shake.
Okay. Shake his hand and
He says,
take whatever he's handed over.
No, he doesn't have anything over. What he says though is, "Good luck, Captain. Strength and honor. Strength and honor." And then releases your hand.
Or give him a firm grasp just
now,
before he releases.
You recognise that he has just used your rank.
Yeah.
And the sort of motto.
You'll find it's the motto.
Motto of your unit.
Do I recognise him from previous tours or anything else?
No, you don't. We'd already ascertained that you didn't recognise him.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just give him I'll just say, "Oh, well played," as they say over here.
And he then walks off and gives you a bit of a wave as you drive away. Okay.
Just scratch my head.
Okay. Do you wish to do anything before you drive back to the? I can't remember which American. You landed at a base where there's American aircraft. I can't remember which one we said it was.
Bryce, wasn't it? Bryce Norton.
Was it Bryce Norton? I can't remember. But are you driving straight back there? Do you wish to do anything on the way?
No, we need to do something.
What do you want to do?
We need to sweep this car.
Right.
Yeah, fair.
You drive what to some random car park or something?
Just put it a couple of blocks away. Stop somewhere where there's
They're probably watching us on the CCTV cam on the corner.
They probably are as well, but at least they know at
mate.
least our security is slightly lax rather than completely lax.
You find a number of tracking devices planted on the vehicle, both the ones that you're supposed to find to tell you that you found them, and the ones that you put on to the real ones for when the ones that have been found are assumed to be enough. You also find a couple of listening devices inside the vehicle that have been planted inside the vehicle, and you also, now you come to think of it,
Good Lord, they emptied an entire Radio Shack at us.
Right, hang on a sec. I just need to check something.
I mean, it's the most business Radio Shack ever seen in a couple decades because they're closed. But
now you come to think, there's a slightly strange smell in the vehicle.
As long as it's not almonds.
No. and you're unable to identify, because none of you have got forensic skill. This is where you need Agent Hawk there. You're not able to identify what it is. But
is it explosive smell?
No, it's not something that any of the four of you are familiar with.
Okay, well, at least it's unlikely to go boom.
Is it like a chemically smell, or is it like a natural smell? It's not like a pine scented sort of.
No, chemical smell.
And here
Is
I
there
thought
any
it was that
fine
new Khar
dust
scent.
on any of the dashboards or anything else around here?
What is your what's the it's not search, what's the other one? Actually no, sorry, no, actually no, but your search skill, what's your search skill?
It's a good question. 52.
That is enough. Yes, you find a few spots of dust.
Light silver grey dust.
Like the dust they use in TV programs when they're dusting for fingerprints.
Yeah, when you want to lift them as well. Oh well.
British intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And you, having ditched all these, are you just going to drop these devices on the road next to you, or are you?
Attach them to random people as they go past.
Leave a little sticky note that says, return care of Q section MI6.
I like that.
That's cute.
Got some good flavour to it.
Do you want to do something like that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Okay. So you leave those in a little bundle with a sticky note on a little note attached to them.
Return to sender.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then drive off. Are you now heading back to the?
Yeah, I mean they're probably pretty well aware of where we're going anyway.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, now that we can probably speak. To be honest, while we're doing that, we might be best off once we deposited them somewhere on the walk back towards the vehicle. We could always swap it for another one if we need to. Just pick up a quick hire. So you've changed. I'm feeling slightly paranoid about it, but because you don't know about which enemy force did that, and also they've got enough intel on us already. But
yeah, actually,
do you want a route to Greece? Therefore, not you've got to think about separate flight plans.
I think it would make some sort of sense to grease the wheels of that, by email or telephone before we just pitch up cold calling.
Sure. Okay. In which case.
But yes, generally yes. But I think we could just do that and say, mate, I'm probably best not doing the talking, but happen to be passing through, or divert, or not diverting a flight, but somebody with some social skills should speak to the Greeks.
Real quick, before we ditch the electronics, is there a role that I would be able to make to check and maybe see what make, or maybe even our CIA guy, because he's with us, to see what make or model those bugs are? Because if we can definitively tie them to an organization, especially the ones that we weren't supposed to find.
Right. So I think that would be either something to do with electronics, or computer.
Yeah, I don't have any computer
or
science, so probably wouldn't be me who would be able
possibly
to do
even
this.
SIGINT to the stretch. No.
I have 40 SIGINT.
Unless anyone's got better, you can never go with SIGINT. But at minus 20, because it is.
Yep. Yeah. Because it's not my area of expertise.
No.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that. Worst comes to worst, I'll still get a check mark.
Worst case, military science be any good, or is that really off the track? Because it's
that would be enough to tell you it's a bug, but probably not enough to tell you
who's made it.
Yeah, I didn't get there.
Good effort though.
Okay. No. So unfortunately, no, you can't work out any source. Okay. Are you now heading back to Bryce Norton and flying back to Kirkuk? Yeah.
I believe that is the plan. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with it.
So you paranoidly watch for tails and stuff like this as you drive back, but there is none. You are absolutely certain, with your extensive knowledge amongst you of spotting tails and stuff, you are not being followed.
Well,
right.
Obviously, anyway. I mean, there's always satellites.
Yes. And yet, so that and so I think at that point, I'm going to cut from you three, back to the other two. So, back in Kirkuk, okay. Agent Farmer, Agent Hawk. Okay. So, during the day, so it is the 8th of April, and at about lunchtime, no, it's a little bit later than that. That handout I shared with you.
It's the 3 o'clock.
Is it 3 o'clock it comes through? Okay.
Or just after, I think.
Just after, yeah. So that comes through, okay. Now, the only other thing you have planned, unless this is something else you two want to come up with, something you want to do, is you have this phone call again, which I think was 7 p.m. if my memory serves me.
I think it was 10 p.m. just because we had to head back, and if they've delayed it exactly by 24 hours, then it's 10 p.m. But
10 p.m. Okay,
I'm not 100%. Yeah.
So 10 p.m. Okay. And what you did, what I said you did last time, is that you, in preparation for this call, you went you drove away from Kirkuk Air Base, physically into Kirkuk, and then you, Agent Farmer, you were then doing a load of bouncing signals off satellites and stuff like that to try and mask the exact location of where you are. Okay. You're muted, by the way, Tom. Just in case you need it. Tom, you're muted.
Whereabouts did we set up in the end?
Somewhere in Kirkuk. Yeah. Could well have been a cafe or something like that. What do you want? It was not specified. So what do you want to say it was? It could have been.
No, I was wondering. So if we're doing 10 p.m. local time, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, 10 p.m. Kirkuk time. Yes.
If there is a cafe open, it'd be worth doing because then you got some people there. It's just a phone call. So, although I do want to try and get some escape routes from like sussed out as well, even if it's just like road maps and stuff that I can read.
Certainly. So you I'm assuming you're also not going back to the same location where you received the call last time. You're going to a fresh location this time.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything you want to do? Say again?
Did we receive a call last time?
No, you got a text message delaying by 24 hours. It was just a text message.
Okay, that's what you're doing. Okay.
Yep. So, do you wish to do anything else, or do you want me to just go straight to that call? Is there anything to do beforehand?
I want to do a couple of things.
Go on.
I don't know if Agent Farmer does.
Go on, B.
Okay. I can't think of anything at the minute.
Okay. First of all, as an OC question, the prisoner that we took, the person that we took from the was it the Peshmerga camp?
Yep.
What did we do with him? Like, have we questioned him?
He's been questioned and debriefed. Where's he gone?
Gorkan, wasn't it?
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
His name's Gorkan. He was using the name Harkan McGee. That's why it's got both names on there. He is, I believe you'd attached another storage container to your sort of ever increasing base of operations of mobile home units, and that had been turned into a brig, and he was secured in there. He's been very thoroughly debriefed. There was a whole load done by, I think it was Ancient Khar, but please correct me if I'm wrong, trying to track where he went. But his explanations are all quite vague because he basically doesn't know. He's not even sure which bridge he crossed the Tigris River on, because he's gone from the western side of the river to the eastern. He was trying to head north into Turkey. He actually ended up going northeast and into Peshmerga territory. He stayed. There's a lot of damage to some extent, but more abandoned buildings in various parts of Mosul, and so he was basically hiding out during the day in abandoned buildings and then moving by night around and trying to head north. As I say, he got it wrong and went northeast.
Does he tell us any information about what happened that night, or anything that is usable?
Yes, so it's more almost sort of filling in some gaps that aren't covered by the video. So the moment things started to get scary, he broke and ran, and he ran out of the sort of the bomb shelter, down the tunnel, and with someone else. He doesn't actually remember who it was, but one of the other people he's with, and they were chased by this sort of swarm of black things. He doesn't even know what they were, and it swarmed over his companion, who collapsed just in the doorway, and he just got out, and he turned in fear and saw that some of the black shards, as they came into the sunlight, seemed to sort of come out and then drop to the ground. So that was the one useful piece of information you've got. But that was sort of confirming you'd already found black shards around the entrance in the sunlight. Sorry, where they would have been in the sunlight, rather. When you actually investigated the Russian property, you already found that. So that was sort of correlating with that. He then said he then ran. He was asked whether he saw the girl. He didn't see the girl at all. No idea what happened to her.
Okay. So from the video and from his account, when the black shards came out of the amphora, it was light inside. I'm assuming because of torches or
there was electric lights turning.
Electric lights. So only sunlight seemed to deanimate these black shards.
That is the
direct sunlight.
He does not relate it like that. He's not thinking like that. No. But that is a fair conclusion to draw from his report. Yes, and the physical evidence that I think it was Agent Jones found and nearly cut his foot with a shard dropping it.
Yeah. And obviously all the reports that we've had of incidents have happened during the night time.
Correct.
And then we get this next incident report, 4 minutes past 3, stating that last night 12 members of Peshmerga forces were assumedly skinned alive. The vehicle was left intact, etc. Okay, and there is a note on there saying that last night was a new moon.
Correct.
Can I contact, during the time when they've likely contacted us to let us know what's happened in London anyway, during that conversation, if it happens coincidentally, we've already got that piece of information, that report. Can I ask one of them or any of them whether there's any mentions of new moons in the text anything to do with a ritual? Is there any connection there of importance to whatever the goals of these things might be?
Right.
Sorry.
No. Good question. I'm assuming this is a question that you're probably in conversation with Agent Jones about, as he is turning himself into the expert on the tablets.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't, Agent Jones, from what you specified so far, it has not said anything specific about nighttime, but there are references, just to remind you, in various things you've read so far about demons of the stars, star demons.
What were they in reference to? Because obviously we know he's more vulnerable during the day, Father of War.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just generally, is he classified as one of these?
Yes, he is one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And if you remember, there are various rituals. You've found 4 rituals so far, but the tablets at various points have talked about the tablets talked about rituals to serve, propagate, and control star demons. So, in answer to your question, Agent Hawk, there is nothing specific that Agent Joe's able to relay about nighttime, but that there's nothing specific to relay that. Though maybe something further will be revealed as you start to learn the other rituals.
Yes. Can I do a quick check?
What ritual was that one?
Say again, Tom.
So what ritual was that one linked to?
Not that there's just they found 3 more rituals, or they know that they got and they don't actually know what those rituals do at the present moment.
Right. Okay.
That
you
the
controlling of has been hasn't been linked to any of these titles.
No.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
So a quick check by Hawk, and hopefully Stuart, Juliet, or Vanguard, whoever can help at the time.
Farmers with you as well.
Or Farmer as well. It's just to see what the weather was like during the evenings between the incidents, the times of the incidents. Whether or not there was cloud cover, etc. I want to see if the moonlight has any effect on these things potentially. That's my goal.
It was fairly clear.
A new moon.
Yeah, it was fairly clear last night.
But it was a new moon, which means there was no moonlight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just want to check the other dates of the first ones, if there's any correlation between phases of the moon and this one, because this is the only clear one that has reported the new moon. The other ones haven't, so I'm trying to check the dates.
Yeah.
The other ones, there doesn't appear to be any exact correlation with phases of the moon. No. That is either coincidental or new.
Could have just been them trying to find a place beforehand. They've been quiet for a little while. Before these guys would have left.
Just to say. Actually, checking back there is the 23rd of March, which is when the video was recorded, was the night of the full moon.
Full moon. 23rd of March.
Sorry.
Yep. That's fine.
And
Before
so the
these
30th,
guys,
sorry, the 30th of March.
Yep.
Was a 3/4 moon.
That kind of makes sense.
And
on the 30th of March, there was an intense firefight that took place. But it doesn't look like there was any.
yeah.
Any
So
victims.
In this original document, the last date
Yeah.
is the 30th of March. That's the intense firefight you're talking about.
Yeah. But there was no one reported to be skinned alive or any unusual stuff. It was just an intense firefight.
There's no reports of any casualties from that. And so that, the 30th of March, was a 3/4 moon.
Okay. It's unusual then that the intense firefight has been reported in this, because from what I'm reading, there is no connection other than it was an intense firefight to the other incidents. There's no skinned people. There's no supernatural link that I can see.
An intense firefight like that in Mosul is quite rare at this point.
Yeah.
There's lots of skirmishing and fighting going on outside of Mosul. There are various executions and things like that, and other gruesome crimes taking place within Mosul. But an intense firefight, that is unusual, and therefore was noted on the incidents. When it says related incidents, maybe it should say potentially related incidents.
Yeah. So potentially that was either the appearance of something and they all started shooting and it got reported as a firefight, or this is the influence of God of War, Father of War, whatever it is.
Yep.
Perhaps, it's war. So, but that's something that Hawk floats out to the rest of the group before they, not before they go, obviously, because this would have come afterwards.
But there's been various conversations to and fro, and I think you're on secure phones, you're catching each other up and stuff.
Good. Because the other thing I was going to ask was either before they left or during a conversation when we're on the phone to each other, I want to clarify exactly what it is that we want to get from this conversation with SV-8. Obviously, from what we know, they have previously, we're assuming that the word there is Delta Green in the report, though it's blacked out. I don't know if there's a way of me sort of trying to line up Delta Green, the word, in the same font and size to see whether or not it covers it perfectly.
This is the document you're talking about.
Yes. The bit at the bottom where it says, not at the bottom, sorry, apologies. It's, where does it say? Be aware that the line 21, be aware of the existence of blank. Sorry, they are known to be aware of the existence of blank, and that's where I think it says Delta Green. And while limited collaboration has occurred in the past, the group is considered a hostile organization whose objects run counter to the US goals. So potentially, I don't know whether that does say Delta Green or whether or not it lines up. It would be kind of unusual if it did say Delta Green, because the word Delta Green is at the top of the page, not blacked out, at the top right-hand corner, saying special access Delta Green. So I don't know if that's a mistake on behalf of the people giving the report, but yeah, my assumption is that we have worked in collaboration with them in the past, which gives us hope that they can potentially, there could be a collaborative element happening now, and certainly not an additional force we have to face whilst we're out doing our job. Making them aware of our presence, I think is going to be beneficial to us, unless anybody else says otherwise, to avoid a firefight. I feel. But
I will voice the concern that instead of preventing a firefight, you will be inviting, because they have no idea who we are right now. They have no idea who's been taking their intel ahead of them, and letting them know that they do have a direct competitor and confirming who that direct competitor is. Even if their intentions aren't hostile, they're probably going to jump to that conclusion considering how far ahead of them we've been, and that we will be effectively alerting them that we've had them under surveillance for some time now.
I won't be telling them that we have them under surveillance. I will allude to the fact that we are aware of their presence. I will not give them any information as to what our information gathering resources are. Just that we know that they were going to be collecting Huck and McGee. I was even going to float the idea that perhaps, seeing as he is absolutely useless to us and doesn't seem to hold any particularly important information, could even be used as a bargaining chip. If they want him, some kind of agreement can be reached so that. Go ahead.
I would be against that because they're known to use psychological techniques and chemical compounds.
Using chemical compounds, yeah. I have considered that.
Torture and stuff as well. So I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
I know our own government deals with shady stuff, but it's not something that I want to be personally part of or aware of.
Understandable. I don't find it particularly it's the only thing that I can think of right now that would give us a way to work together, unless anybody else had any other suggestions. Other than the fact that we seem to be going after the same goal, to help them remove a competitor and instead receive help from, just for the time being. Like I said,
I'm just I'm just highlighting potential risks. Like, I'm not saying don't go through with it. I'm just saying
no.
Do keep in mind.
Completely, I think we should always treat the situation with them as potentially hostile, no matter how friendly they are seeming, and we shouldn't ever lower our guard. Shouldn't be giving them any information, frankly, at all, unless it's discussed first between all of us, whether or not it's needed. My plan was to make them aware that there is another group, so that they don't go out searching for this other group and just assume that they must eliminate us as a threat. Because yes,
I completely agree with you on that regard. But can we start the conversations with them in local languages?
What language did you leave the note in? I believe Arabic.
Yeah, it was Arabic, just because it was the most common.
Yeah.
But I have already referred to them as SV-8 because that is.
Oh yeah, no, I completely understand that part of it. I just want to get the languages, because even just a language change aids in the dissemination. The diffusion of information.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to give them any more information. I will be giving them a name to refer to me by. I will not be giving them any information about our group. Just simply that we know of their presence. We know that they deal with certain supernatural elements, and we are a group that also deal with supernatural elements. I can't tell them any more than that, but it would be potentially a beneficial arrangement for us to work together just in this, and whether or not they would go for that. And if they don't, then they know that we know that they know that we know. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Is everybody happy with me going ahead with this conversation?
Yeah, go with it.
I'd be interested to know as well what it means by chemical compounds in there. Like, is it just your regular torture methods and chemical compounds, that sort of thing, or are we talking supernatural? Because the letter that the document, the bits that are blacked out, make me think that potentially their government is allowing the use of potentially supernatural means to achieve Russian foreign policy goals. But I don't know, obviously, because it's blacked out. And obviously, if this comes into the hands of SV-8, if we do work together, we need to make sure that they do not leave with any information, especially the things like the tablets, etc. The amphora.
Okay. Right. You have no other reference for what these chemical compounds could be, so you can't, unfortunately, deduce that any further. Between both Hawk and Farmer are very good with computers, I remember. You can certainly work out that Delta Green does fit in the spot on row 21.
Nice.
And you can start to try and work out the other ones as well, but it is a bit to try to see if you can try and work something out, but that will take a bit of time to do.
Take time.
Yep.
That's a project for, well, I don't know, is that something achievable before the 10 p.m. conversation, do you think? If we drop some skill checks on it?
No, I don't think it's going to be, in all honesty. No, I don't think it's that. I think that's
fine if not. Just
no,
so I know what my timeline and goals are.
Actually, just bear with me a sec.
No worries. With that information, to the rest of the group, of that we think that they've had collaboration with Delta Green, do we want to tell them that we are Delta Green? Like, what risk does that pose to us?
We don't think you have to. You could almost say that you were we were a private investigation company, just private contractors.
I'm not 100% very good at lying. I can be evasive with my answers, and I can outright tell them that I won't answer certain questions. But if I outright lie, if we're going to go for a collaborative element, you know what I mean? I don't know. If Agent Khar was here, we'd have a better chance.
Well, technically, so is Delta Green actually government funded?
I thought it is.
Sorry, is Delta Green
government funded?
Yeah,
it lies in.
Yes, but the government may not know it's funding it.
That's what I was. That's what my
right. So
yeah. I think it's more like
so we can't even say
parasitical
PMC
group. Say again, Farmer.
We can't just say that we're a PMC then. Private military company.
We can, but it will be likely that they will detect that I'm lying.
What is it to lie? What skill?
I think it's just deception. I think deception is its own. No, it's not. It is persuasion.
I think
That's
it is
not
persuasion.
a thing either.
Persuasion,
Oh, it is
isn't it?
persuasion. Oh, I lied. I've got 50 in persuade.
Yeah,
See, you made us
Oh, yeah.
believe you.
Maybe I am.
You're better than you
Yeah.
thought. Clearly.
I lied to myself and believed it. Apologies, I thought it was a different. Yeah, no, I'll give it a crack. I'll
yeah, it's quite broad
see if
skills in this
they'll.
game, so yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In that case, I will attempt to. It's worth the chance. I'll attempt to make them believe that we're a private company operating on the behalf of somebody
Private
overseas.
individuals.
Yeah,
Private
private individuals.
individuals overseas.
I will drop Emmeline Hale as the person funding us if I have to. I'll do it.
Shocking.
I don't trust her. No, I'm joking. I won't do
Nobody
that.
trusts the old woman.
Yeah, let's just throw the Brits under the bus. They put an entire
Yeah.
like Q section's worth of trackers into that Land Rover. They really wanted to know where we were going.
Actually, I'm being harsh. Give me a actually, sorry, sorry. I keep saying give me skill rolls, but what are Farmer and Hawk's computer skills?
50.
52.
Okay, so in the time frame you've got before your call, you're able to work out a couple of other possible blanks. Okay,
Ooh.
so
Hang on, let me get it up.
21
Hang
is
on.
they are known to be aware of the existence of Delta Green. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Row 6, better known as GRU SV-8, is the primary counter-occult organization of the Russian Federation.
Counter occult. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that actually helps a little bit. Allays fears that they might use it.
What are the
Organization
what's
of the
the
Russian
third word?
Federal.
Organization?
Yeah, the organization's still
Okay.
there in the text. The blanked out words were counter-occult.
Okay.
Yeah. And rule 21 was Delta Green.
Row 8 is the blanked out row 8 is also Delta Green.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So they are similar to Delta Green.
Right. Row 12. The organization was given new orders to exploit the unnatural as part of the resurgent Russia's more aggressive foreign policy.
Never mind. And I'm back on being suspicious. Exploit
The
the
unnatural.
occult. The unnatural, sorry.
Yep.
All right. So they would use any unnatural.
Since then, so this is then row 13.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, GRU SV-8 has utilized unnatural technologies to achieve Russian foreign policy goals.
Okay. I really feel like if we don't have this conversation with them, which I'm not saying we absolutely have to have, it's a case of keep your enemies closer. I feel like they're already aware that something is now aware of them. They're going to be a lot more secretive, a lot more covert. If we don't kind of come to some sort of collaboration agreement potentially, then we're going to lose them and potentially lose sight of what they might gain from their investigations. But it does mean that we're going to have to keep an extra eye on our own unnatural assets. So the amphora, the tablets, the elder sign stuff, the lid.
Did we get anything from that team that we sent out to that safe house that they were running out in the middle of the like glorified changing room?
Sorry, so apologies, I completely forgot that. Right, so this happened last session. So Tom B, you weren't. I haven't told you about this yet. So an agent farmer, you'd have been involved in supervising this. But what's happened is you guys have sent out a special forces team has gone to. Do you remember when the what you're believing is a GRU team? Do you remember there was a building where they changed from looking like they actually physically changed their appearance and stuff like that? You've sent a team of US Special Forces operators there to go and plant bugs on the vehicle and check out the building, plant bugs on the vehicle, and I think plant listening devices and trackers on the vehicle, bugs on the vehicle, bugs in the location, as well as search the location, subtly search the location. So apologies. So they report back to Farmer that has been successfully done. It will be agents Juliet and Stewart have now got a feed coming from a hidden camera in the building, and there are audio transcripts going through and location trackers for the vehicle. None of those have moved. The vehicle has not been used or moved since it last was, and they searched the vehicle. There report uniforms for a total of 6 Peshmerga special forces and appropriate weaponry, and complete with ID tags and things like that. So they have taken copies of all 6 ID tags, and those are on there. Those have been sent across to you.
Very good.
So are cameras and bugs, has it picked up any movement, like anybody in the buildings? Not at all.
There's no one else in the buildings. This is not their base. This is the SWAT.
Oh, it's not the warehouse.
No, not the warehouse.
No. It's a changeover, isn't it?
It was the changeover point where
it was the changeover point because we wanted to talk with them. So like raiding their base would have been a little gauche, but checking their changing room on the other hand.
Little ghosts. Yeah, because I was worried. We've got soon the maid. I can't remember her first name. Begins with S. We believe that she is with them.
Yeah,
which is the other reason why I wanted to do a swapsies and work together with them, because she's an innocent in all of this, whereas
Assume the maid, wasn't it?
Yeah, Harkin is a member of, or was a member of ISIL, so I don't care too particularly.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't give a shit. Whereas she's like fully not, you know. And I
Shatha Hassoon. Shatha Hassoon. SHATHA.
If they have unnatural technologies to aid them in interrogation,
potentially,
he may have blanked out parts, unconsciously blanked out parts, but he still has those memories there. And if they have unnatural technologies to be able to get those memories back out of his locked up brain, is that a good thing or a bad thing that we have him?
No idea. I think, I don't know.
I'd say good that we do have him and they don't, currently, because you're handing over an information asset potentially without any need to an enemy force who may be able to exploit it for their gains. So if they manage to find out a way of controlling the god of war, therefore, furthering the Soviets' agendas, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
They must not, under any circumstances, have those tablets.
So, do we want to use this guy as a bargaining chip or no? If we're assuming that they can gain further information, I don't think knowing his background, he's not going to know anything further, whether or not he blacked out or not, anything more than what Shatha would have been able to give them while she's been in their care.
The only thing I can think of is that he may have actually noticed things unconsciously that he doesn't know what they are, but these people might do. They have a lot more knowledge about this sort of shenanigans than he does.
Risk versus reward, though. Is it worth the risk for gaining Shatha back?
What we gain in Shatha back is actually freeing an innocent. What we lose is a potential information, or at least denying them an information source.
Yeah, that would be it. I don't think we have any way of, bar anybody going in there and torturing him, which I am not advocating. That denying them potential intel, is that worth Shatha's potential life? And I'm posing that to all of the people here. You don't get to get out of this conversation.
Yeah, let's see how the meeting goes. That's mine.
Well, I kind of need to know before because the conversation. This is either a one and done.
Offer to do a meetup, just 2 wide open spaces.
2 people in a area where it is highly populated.
How about this? Yeah. How about this? Yeah.
Okay.
If we keep the conversation going afterwards, if we can contact them again and so on, then we have the option of bringing that information up about and doing the swap at that point. At the moment, we just want to say, listen, we know you're here. You now know that we're here. We've got the same goals. Do you want to work together? I think that's all we need to do it for this meeting. And then potentially at a second meeting.
Let's not make it too complicated then, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get their answer as to whether or not they are willing to work together, and if so, we'll make a meeting 2 and 2. Though we're going to expect more, obviously. But because me and Farmer are doing this conversation, they may be able to track us back. So it's going to likely be me and Farmer again having this conversation with them in person. Because if we can keep everybody else's identities completely secret, then you guys can do something in the background whilst we're keeping them busy potentially.
You can set up somewhere for the call where there's no security camera footage and so on. So they, even if they've managed to trace your call last time through all the layers of security that Farmer have put on it, you're setting up in a different location anyway. And it's unlikely in the duration of the call that someone who they'll be able to hack, trace your location, and then get someone there to physically see you in that time.
No, but you could go there afterwards and ask around for. Yeah. Okay. I know that this is overcautious, but I think that's my mindset right now.
Should we move on to the call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just pick up one thing before we go? You know those like foil bags that like signal blocking bags, so you slip the phone in afterwards. Yeah, afterwards, not beforehand.
Yep.
Yeah.
be real difficult beforehand.
Well, it could be travelling in there until you need to use it, and then
Yes,
probably with no SIM card in it, and then the SIM card is put in at the last minute. The phone call's made, and the SIM card is then taken out and it's put back in the bag.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely fine. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So you two set up a late night cafe that's probably in a Kirkuk has been I can't remember if Kirkuk ever fell to Islamic State, but I don't think it did. You're in a certainly in a cafe that's you've picked one that's comparatively liberal in that women are in the cafe as well as men. So it's sort of some quite funky music playing in the background, some very nice drinks being served, some nice little eats and pastries and things and so on. So there's a little bit of ambient noise in the background, and you've set up, as I assume, with Farmer, you're providing you're setting up so the phone is not just directly connecting to a network that it can be tracked through. It's signals being bounced around and stuff using your computer skills. Yeah. So you're
so that's what I'm doing prior, but during the actual thing, I think I'm going to leave a lot of the talking to Hawk, and I'll be doing security.
Okay. So you've got you've probably got a laptop on the table though, because it's just to keep monitoring all of that. And I assume you're both armed with pistols. Yep. Okay. And Hawk at 12 o'clock. Sorry, 10 o'clock. Apologies. The phone rings as expected, almost on the dot of the time.
I let it ring twice and then pick it up. Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hello.
I'm speaking Arabic, by the way.
Yeah, I know you are.
Okay.
The voice replies in Arabic. Hello, you may call me Assad, which you know is Arabic for lion. Right, what's your human score?
65.
Right. And what's your Arabic score? 60.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah. So you are completely and utterly fluent in Arabic, and you're able to tell that this person is not. They speak good Arabic. They are not a native speaker or as good as a native speaker.
Okay. Quick question for the GM.
Mm-hmm.
On the names that we gave you at the beginning for the fake ID stuff, have these already been made up, or are these names yet to be made up? Specifically, the fake ISIL ID.
That'll be made up.
That's already been made up.
Yeah.
Okay, I will choose a different name. Oh God, I should have pre-prepared this. I give him a female Arabic name.
Okay. Do work out what it is later, but yes, you give him a female. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. It is a male voice. Sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah, I give him a female Arabic name. I say, you may call me this.
You wished to talk?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for contacting us. As I'm sure you're aware, the person you were aiming to retrieve was taken by our group before you got there. I understand that your
and you knew we were coming.
We have ways of gaining that information, yes. We were aware that you were heading towards that, what was it, a prison?
Yeah, it was a prisoner of war camp. I think it was called
That
Accra.
prisoner of war camp.
Accra, I think it was called.
Accra. I am part of a private group that has interest in potentially the same things that your group has interests in. I believe we may have already passed each other, which is when we first became aware of your group. We had visited the home of a gentleman where there were supposed to be items of unnatural nature. Do you catch my meaning?
I do. Please continue.
Turned out when we arrived, your group had already been there. B knows that this is a lie, by the way.
Okay. What is your persuade skill?
50.
Okay. Yeah.
We were made aware of a presence that seemed to be working towards the same goals that we are. Our interest is to discover what has caused these incidents since the 23rd of March.
So return to the house of the old man.
Yes.
You visited there after we did.
It is how we became aware of your presence.
Describe what you found.
A house. An empty estate. Several dead ISIL members. Just check in with Andy. That was correct, wasn't it? They killed all but 2, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they killed about 20 something.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was an underground room, some kind of pool filled with sand.
And who do you work for?
I'm not at liberty to tell you that.
But you described it as a private group?
That is correct. We are hoping to work collaboratively with your group. Seeing as we are working towards the same goal, it seems detrimental to both of us if we are gaining assets from one another and only having portions of the evidence towards getting where we need to go.
Do you understand what you are getting yourself involved with?
I understand enough.
And what? You are a private group. So you are being paid to do this?
Yes.
You are a mercenary?
We are getting paid.
What would allay your fears to why can't work with us?
I am not necessarily suggesting that we cannot work together. I am trying to ascertain whether your services and knowledge are up for sale and whether we can work together in that I may employ you. Because
how much of this conversation
can I? Yeah. All right, calm down.
Sorry.
You're saying that we can potentially get the Russian government to fund our Delta Green operation.
Right. Sorry. Are you saying? Sorry, Tom. Was your question how much of this is farmer hearing?
Yeah.
Do you want to have?
No.
Do you wish to have set up some kind of secondary headphone that you've got plugged in, so you're hearing as well?
Headphone, yes. Microphone,
Oh,
no.
no. Microphone, no. Headphone, yes. Yeah.
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 Headphone,
Okay.
yes.
Assuming Hawk
Okay.
would have been happy with that. So
Yeah.
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 Okay. So you're hearing this as well.
Write a little notes going. Do we set honor? Are we honourable for contract?
Are we honourable
Or
for contract?
do we break contract?
Oh,
Question mark.
Hawk's fully
Yeah.
not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no.
Hawk won't
So,
even entertain that.
okay, so in that case, when you shake your head, tell them we won't.
Hello. Are you
above
still
it.
there?
Apologies. I am taking a moment to think how much it would be worth my loyalty.
So
I'm
you
not
are a
sure.
mercenary, but you are loyal. This is very interesting.
I can't tell you who it is that I work for, but I can tell you that I have worked with them previously and I do owe them loyalty to an extent.
Okay.
I will not divulge anything further about myself or my group until I know, well, frankly, even if I know that we will work collaboratively. I do only wish for us to share information and work together towards this goal and this goal only. I want that to be understood. It will be no further.
Okay. What are you?
Who do you work for?
An interested party that wishes to know what has occurred at the old man's house because it appears to be dangerous and it therefore needs to be stopped.
Can I do a specific human check on that specific line? It needs to be stopped. Their intention to actually stop it.
What's your human skill?
65.
I don't think that requires a dice roll. From the way he's phrasing it, the reading of his voice, it's difficult across a phone, but stop. He could mean stop. He could mean control.
Okay. Yep. Stop what's happening here, not stop what it could do elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe that we are working towards the same goal. And you
just to reiterate. Sorry, he doesn't say reiterate because his Arabic isn't that good. Just to repeat.
Yeah.
You visited the old man's house after us.
Yes, we became aware of a presence when we had gone to this house.
We believe that someone visited the old man's house before we did. You saw that room. There were lots of the underground room.
How do you know this?
Because someone has removed artifacts that were in that room.
You were aware already that there were artifacts in that room.
There were bookshelves with no books on them. There was some big, as you saw, some big iron cage that was empty. What was in the cage? What books have been removed. And without explaining my sources, I know that ISIL oh, sorry, hang on a sec.
Nice.
Members of the ISIL, where is it? Aman al-Dawala unit, that's the counterintelligence lot.
Yeah.
Was sent there by Ahmed al-Jabiri, their commander in Mosul. They retrieved only bodies and weapons. They did not remove any artifacts. Of this I am certain.
So you became aware of the presence of the unnatural due to the counterintelligence by Daesh.
That was one of... We became aware something was going on by the presence of a number of skinned bodies.
How did you become aware of the person known as Harker McGee and his involvement in this?
That I cannot disclose. What's Farmer's human, by the way?
34.
Right. Both of you can give me a human roll at -20.
-20.
Yeah. It would be -40, but because the two of you are there next to each other, you can sort of look at each other and assist effect each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, failed. Not
Okay.
far off,
Yeah.
though. Only
Nope.
5% off.
So neither of you can figure that out. So you right.
Okay.
There's something I'll give you for free that, and Hawk, you can pick this up. There's something odd in the way he doesn't want to reveal that.
Okay. My main objective of this conversation is to find out whether your group would be willing to have further discussion, perhaps in person, 2 members of your team and 2 members of our team, to talk over more specifics about how we can work collaboratively. There will likely be, from both of our sides, things we cannot tell each other. And in the interest of openness.
So you wish to stop this entity as well?
Yes, that is our goal. But we may need to ensure that it is also your goal.
I've already told you it's our goal.
I will take it at your word for now. So, a meeting. Would your group be willing? Farmer, if you're typing something on the computer, do you want to type it into the chat?
No. What do you write down?
I literally want to pass a message
Yep.
to Hawk. So just say, did they know about Rassam before this? So when did they become aware of these skinned bodies? Just so we know whereabouts in the timeline they became aware. So when did they become aware of the skinned bodies? So I assume they're the ones from the related incidents in Mosul.
I will ask that after he replies about the meeting potentially.
I think a meeting would be a good idea. Where would you like to do this and when?
Can I name an area within Mosul?
I want to pass a message to. Let's write down quickly. We will call you back within 48 hours with the time and place. Within 48 hours, okay.
Within 48. I'm just going to type back 48 question mark. Too long.
24.
We can discuss where and when. I need to confer with my team. I can contact you back via text within 24 hours, if that is acceptable.
Send me a text at this time tomorrow night.
Okay. Additionally, if we are going to be working towards this so that we are prepared for when we meet, when did you become first aware of the skinned bodies and any other incidents that drew your attention to the unnatural in this area? What date?
We received information on the 26th of March about the hang on a sec, I just need to check something. Sorry, that might be wrong. Let me double check something.
Okay. 26th of March would have been an ISIL fighter skinned in the Al-Numana.
So we received information on the 26th of March about incidents the previous night on the 25th of March. Sorry. No, sorry, from the times. No, yes, sorry. From the morning of the 25th, we received information on the day of the 26th.
From the morning of the 25th. Okay.
From incidents that took place on the morning of the 25th.
Okay. Alive but catatonic, potentially. Okay. I do hope that we could come to some kind of agreement, as I'm sure you are now aware our intel gathering skills are extensive. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Are you working with Iranian intelligence?
Right now, cannot comment.
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Let us talk by text this time tomorrow night.
Good evening.
And
what was
remember,
his name?
Assad.
And remember one thing.
Interesting. Wins upon
Adad.
Okay,
He's
Adad. Oh, Assad. Fuck.
Yeah.
I clocked something. Okay.
Remember one thing. Until this call, I thought there was one other group involved. But if you were telling me the truth, there is another group out there who have taken artifacts before my group reached the old man's house.
Hopefully, more things can be understood if and when we work together.
needs that last message thing there. Does he honestly believe there are 3 groups? I'll do a human roll.
No, you don't. Does not. Sorry. As such, it's an irrelevant human roll because Hawks is high enough. You have convinced it. Basically, you are good enough with your persuade skill that he is convinced of what you said. So he's actually bought what you've told him, and he is now genuinely perplexed and thinks there's 3 groups.
Good evening, Assad. And I'll hang up.
Okay.
Undo the battery, take out the SIM, stick it in the bag, zip it
Bury
up, throw it in a box, bury it. No, I'm joking.
What's your right?
And we leave.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah. Farmer, you're able to tell one thing. You were not traced, but someone was trying to trace that phone call.
Right.
There is very competent computer. You could also have tried to trace theirs, but you didn't. You said you were.
No.
I was concentrating.
We know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a pretty good.
we don't
we
care.
have a pretty good location in them. Yeah.
Actually, that's a very good thing. Very good point. When you get back, because you've got in and set up. In fact, possibly you might have received a report this before you set up. Stuart and what's her name?
Juliet.
Stuart and Juliet let you know that you've seen the white Toyota Hilux before.
Yeah.
That exited with 4 people in it, 2 in the cab, 2 sitting on the back, and drove to a sort of deserted part of Mosul, and then
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so they also drove out into the middle of nowhere to make their phone call. Good to know that we both operate from the same playbook.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't nowhere. We were somewhere comfortable.
Just to be clear,
food and drink.
Juliet and Stuart took the decision to follow that vehicle, leaving the base uncovered for a period of time, but then tracked it back, and they appear to have gone out, been out for the duration of your call, and then come back. So the logic is that's what they did. Yeah. Okay. That's I think finish time for the evening. So
the name I gave them is Jamila.
Jamila. Okay.
Jamila.
So Jamila.
Let them fret about how to spell it.
Yeah. It means beautiful.
Okay.
Of course.
It's like, fuck your lion shit. And obviously as soon as I can and we're secure, I will update the rest of the group with how that conversation went.
Yeah. We can sort out that next session. I think that's time to finish there. So I think we'll finish for the evening there. Thank you anyone who's watching this. Hope you've enjoyed it. There will be another session at some point soon. We're in the UK. It's UK's sort of kids' summer holiday, so the episodes will continue to be a little bit erratic, but will be another episode as soon as possible. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.